I am a big believer in the intersectionality of grappling and the importance of pulling effective techniques from different disciplines and mixing them into your game. At present, there is no one grappling discipline that will fully develop all aspects of a skilled grappler. Wrestling develops a great base for virtually all forms of grappling. It helps you develop explosive power, complex body mechanics, balance, endurance, physical strength, the practice of speed and power in concert with one another, the physical control of another's body, mat awareness, a competition mindset, and an aggressive attack mentality on the mats. Wrestling is in no way a replacement for the skills you learn in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but when you combine strong wrestling skills with strong Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu skills, the synergy created by this combination is truly extraordinary. The fact of the matter is that different grappling styles teach you different skills and help you to hone different skills to greater degrees. Each style of grappling will have a greater and lesser focus on different elements of grappling. For example, takedowns and throws are part of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but it is a small part of the game, and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu's primary focus is on ground fighting. Many BJJ gyms usually start and end most of their grappling training already on the ground. Conversely, in wrestling, takedowns are a major part of the game. Someone who trains wrestling for a long time and then steps into a BJJ competition has an increased chance of starting the match with a lead, as they are far more likely to have developed a strong stand-up game and get the takedown. Wrestling and BJJ have many points of overlap, but in some ways, wrestling feels like a different concept of grappling in its mentality and approach. In Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, fighting off your back is a big part of the game. In wrestling, being on your back is usually the last place you want to be. BJJ at times has an approach where you are trying to absorb the energy of an attacker in a manner that sometimes feels like, arguably, a form of semi-passive resistance. Wrestling has arguably a greater focus on aggressive, explosive attacks and aggressive, explosive defenses to attacks. When getting beat in BJJ, it sometimes feels more like you are getting wrapped up by a boa constrictor. When getting beat in wrestling, it sometimes feels more like you are getting manhandled by a gorilla. BJJ often has a greater sense of flowing movements, and at points resisting your opponent from a somewhat more relaxed bottom position, or rolling back to your guard if you are close to being taken down. Wrestling, on the other hand, has a big focus on top-down control, and there seems to be a greater degree of force against force. A bit more like two bulls butting heads, but done with technique and strategy. I would also say that wrestling seems to have a greater emphasis on speed and moves done with sudden explosions of power. In some ways, wrestling sometimes feels more like a direct imposition of will, whereas sometimes BJJ feels like you are getting caught in a trap. A good wrestler can have such a control style of mat destruction. Against some good BJJ practitioners, you may feel like you are constantly getting caught in tricky techniques. Whereas against a good wrestler, sometimes you feel like you are getting slammed, manhandled, and controlled. In some ways, wrestling's top down aggressive domination can at times almost feel like the inverse of BJJ. By combining knowledge of both Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and wrestling, it enhances a grappler's overall skill set and increases the number of different situations that they are able to respond to effectively. In essence, it makes you a better overall grappler. In my next video, I plan to compare freestyle, Greco-Roman, and folk-style wrestling in relation to which is the best of these three styles for Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. If you liked this video, please like and also subscribe. Thanks for watching.